Hello, and welcome to Global Voices for English Learners. My name is Sarah.
And I'm Daniel. In this podcast, we explain important global topics using clear and simple English, especially for people who are learning the language.
Today's episode is about one of the most important and destructive events in modern history, the Second World War.
This war changed governments, borders, and global power. It also showed the extreme danger of totalitarian ideologies like Nazism and fascism.
Our goal today is to explain why the war happened, how it became global, and how it shaped the world we live in today.
To understand World War II, we must begin with the world after World War I.
The First World War ended in 1918, but it did not bring stability. Europe was economically damaged, politically divided, and socially traumatized.
Germany was punished heavily by the Treaty of Versailles. The country lost territory, military power, and was forced to pay large financial reparations.
These conditions created anger, humiliation, and political chaos inside Germany.
At the same time, the 1920s and 1930s brought another major crisis: the Great Depression.
This global economic collapse caused massive unemployment and poverty in many countries.
Democratic governments often failed to respond effectively. This allowed extremist movements to grow.
In Germany, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party rose to power.
Nazism was built on racism, anti-Semitism, nationalism, and violence. It openly rejected democracy and human rights.
This ideology was not misunderstood or accidental. It was explicit and deliberate.
In Italy, Benito Mussolini promoted fascism.
Fascism emphasized authoritarian rule, militarism, and loyalty to the state above individual freedom.
In Japan, military leaders believed expansion through war was necessary to secure resources and power.
These regimes believed conflict was not a failure, but a solution.
That belief led directly to global war.
Before the war fully began, daily life in many countries was already changing.
Governments used propaganda to control information and influence public opinion.
In Nazi Germany, the state controlled newspapers, radio, education, and culture. Citizens were constantly exposed to messages promoting obedience, nationalism, and hatred toward minorities.
This shows how dangerous it is when people lose access to independent information.
Similar patterns appeared in other authoritarian regimes.
Political opposition was silenced, and fear became a tool of control.
Violence and dehumanization were normalized long before the war reached its peak. The Second World War officially began in September 1939, when Nazi Germany invaded Poland.
Britain and France declared war shortly after.
In the early years, Germany used fast and aggressive military strategies to conquer large parts of Europe.
Countries such as France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Norway were invaded.
Britain remained standing, resisting German attacks during the Battle of Britain.
In 1941, Germany invaded the Soviet Union.
This decision opened the largest and deadliest front of the war.
Millions of soldiers and civilians died on the Eastern Front.
At the same time, Japan expanded aggressively across Asia.
Japanese forces occupied large parts of China, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific.
In December 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, a U.S. naval base in Hawaii.
This attack brought the United States into the war.
With the U.S. involved, the conflict became truly global.
The Allies now included the United States, the United Kingdom, the Soviet Union, and many other nations.
One of the darkest chapters of the war was the Holocaust.
Nazi Germany systematically murdered 6 million Jews, along with millions of others, including Roma people, disabled individuals, and political opponents.
This was not a side effect of war. It was a planned genocide driven by Nazi ideology and state policy.
Life during the war was extremely difficult for civilians.
Cities were bombed, food was rationed, and families were separated.
Many children grew up without safety or stability.
Women played a crucial role during the Second World War.
With millions of men fighting, women entered factories, farms, and offices in large numbers.
This permanently changed societies and helped expand women's rights after the war.
The war also affected countries far from Europe.
In Africa, Asia, and Latin America, economies and political movements were deeply influenced.
Many colonial soldiers fought for European powers while lacking rights at home.
After the war, these experiences fueled independence movements across Africa and Asia.
World War II reshaped the global system far beyond Europe. As the war continued, the balance slowly shifted.
In Europe, major turning points included the Battle of Stalingrad and the Allied landing in Normandy, known as D-Day.
These events pushed German forces back.
In the Pacific, the United States fought Japan across islands and naval routes.
These battles were long, costly, and decisive.
By 1945, Allied forces reached Germany from both east and west.
Berlin fell, and Germany surrendered in May 1945.
The war in Asia ended a few months later.
After the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan surrendered in August 1945.
The war was over, but its consequences were just beginning.
Europe was devastated. Cities lay in ruins, economies collapsed, and millions were displaced.
The war transformed global power.
The United States and the Soviet Union emerged as superpowers, leading to the Cold War.
New international institutions were created.
The United Nations was formed to prevent future global conflicts.
The war also reshaped borders and political systems.
Many modern conflicts trace their roots to decisions made after World War II.
The war deeply changed how the world thinks about human rights.
The horrors of genocide led to international agreements protecting human dignity.
World War II teaches us a clear lesson.
Extremism, racism, and authoritarianism lead to destruction, not strength.
Understanding this history helps us recognize dangerous patterns in the present.
And it helps English learners talk about complex global topics with clarity and confidence. Before we finish, we'd like to hear from you.
Where are you listening from? How is World War II taught or discussed in your country?
If you can, write your comment in English to practice.
Different perspectives are welcome. We only ask for respect.
Thank you for listening to Global Voices for English Learners.
Keep learning, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next episode.